is so grudgingly not really wanting to cooperate, and only their best interest seems to be the dollar bill. And I'm saying this is a green issue. It's not an environmental one. It's a dollar bill issue. It's a green issue based upon money and how they would benefit, basically financially. So my question is to you: in the event that they definitely, like you said, not going to donate the property, the money that they would get from it, what are they going to do with it? I mean, is it what is it going to propose? Are they going to do more renovations to Harbor Homes? How's that going to work? That's what I'm asking.
Right. The Housing Authority has a mission, which is to provide housing, and housing for folks in our communities.
Yes,
and I say community in the larger sense, the town of North Hempstead, is limited for those who have economic challenges. It's not an easy place to live if you can't afford it. And so they're struggling. They've been struggling for decades because as they try to meet their burden, I can tell you that state funding and federal funding and county funding has diminished.
You don't have to tell me, I'm a county worker, so I definitely know.
So that's, they're not looking to make profits. They're not looking to I mean, the dollar sign is important to them because they have an obligation to make sure people's quality of life and dignity in the homes that they live in are at the level that we all wish it to be. And so, because they have this obligation, fiduciary obligation, this financial obligation, imposed on them by the town, by the state, and by the federal government, some of the other facilities, they have to, one, use their property to fill their mission. They're not allowed to simply do things for the, they can't take the money and donate it to some charity. That's just not appropriate. So they need to be constantly aware of their obligations, liability issues. I would suggest that this is one of the concerns that they have, even with this property. But if they can acquire dollars to meet their mission in other ways, then they would be meeting their obligation. And I think they were open to that discussion, which is the first time we've circled around that concept. And again, I think the councilwoman did kind of bring this around to this position, and we appreciate her efforts on this. But it is, I wouldn't want to diminish the Housing Authority for trying to do their job. And I don't think they're the bad guys here. I think they're simply people who are trying to meet their job. Their job is to try to find housing. They had an idea. It came out about a year ago, whenever it was. Met with stiff opposition on different grounds from different communities. And if there's a way to find a solution to this and for them to still do their job, then that would be a win-win for everybody.
Forgive me, I mean, not from different communities, it was the community at large. It wasn't different communities because, again, we want to always incorporate Harbor Homes. They are the community, and they are Port Washington.
I meant different communities. The Housing Authority has different communities in the town, such as Westbury, Great Neck, Manhasset.
Exactly.
They have different facilities throughout the town. So their obligation is from different communities as well.
But my last point was like accommodations are definitely made for certain Port Washington community residents. The skateboarders were given place to skateboard. Yeah. Manor Haven Park is a distance, like we had said from the very beginning when we first came to the board. Forgive me for not addressing everyone.
It's okay.
We did.
Okay,
I'm just saying that, so I'd
like
to be respectful. We did that, and it seems like our youth continually are invisible to the rest of the community. It can't be that way. We want to try to accommodate everyone, and I'm sure idealistically we would like to accommodate everyone, but I think this accommodation is not something that could be very difficult. The initiatives may be difficult because we're talking about paperwork and we're talking about, as you said, I guess, positions that people have. But as far as the residents of Harbor Homes, we don't want to be dismissed. We continue want our voices to be heard. And at times, I again appreciate and applaud your very efforts because I'm sure it takes a lot of time. And I know that you've been in different communication with our president.
Right.
Yes, correct. So that being said, please, before I leave, is that we don't continue want to be an ostracized community. We want to be considered at whole. And it would be a park not just for the residents of Harbor Homes, but Port Washington at large. That's the whole point. Continue, please, to be the bridge for us, and so that we continue to have a voice for Harbor Homes, but for Port Washington as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Welcome, Commissioner.
Supervisor, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Dave Franklin. I live at 86 Fairview Avenue, Port Washington, New York. I am a commissioner in the police district of Port as such, my main concern is safety. All right, the main roads that are around the area of Harbor Homes are Port Washington Boulevard and Harbor Road, which is a major thoroughfare for people cutting down to Shore Road. You have a lot of trucks that are making deliveries there and whatnot. It's a very popular road, and it's certainly not a place for children to play. Okay, kids play in the street, but that's not a good place to play either. We've got an oasis there that we can take advantage of. All right, it's a park that can be beautifully used. I don't know where you grew up. I grew up in Jersey City. We played in the streets. Played football, you ran into cars, and it wasn't pretty for the cars.
I grew up in Jersey too.
Okay. You know, when I grew up, the tail lights had fins and wings, and that wasn't pretty either. Also considering the fact of protection of property, these days cars aren't made the way they used to. So a ball that bounces around, hits off the hood, you're talking about a couple $100 worth of damage. My question, just to cut ahead, the other thing, when Karen made a good point about community, we are all part of this community, okay? And there are different sections, but it's all Port Washington. And in this day and age when people are texting and people are on Facebook, wouldn't it be nice to have a place where you can actually talk to somebody face to face?
Yeah.
You know, I know that's a little crazy in this day and age, but my question therefore is does the town have any land available to do a land swap with the housing authority? Anything that might be a little more appropriate and you know, have a little more room for them?
Excellent question. And the way this got taken off the table, how long ago was it? Probably about a year ago, was that we decided to see if there were other places somewhere in or another place somewhere in Port Washington where there might be able to be some type of swap. And so I know some folks from different organizations got together, tried to see if there was residents from Washington, Men's here, and some others from the community came together to see if they could find a place. And there were some ideas, and those ideas remain. There's been no final resolution to that. But I think, or I know, after speaking to the councilwoman and the housing authority folks, that if there's other options, they want to explore them, and they're going to continue that.
Okay, I just asked the board to strongly consider, to reconsider what you're doing, find another parcel of land, and do the right thing for men, women, and especially the children of Port Washington. Thank you for your time.
And Brandon?
By the way, I haven't heard anybody invite us to go to the diner, right? So we find that group.
The Greenville Diner is like a place where they have big group meetings.
I want to first, before I ask you guys, I want to first compliment you as somebody who's fairly active, goes to a lot of meetings, school board meetings, etc. I want to really compliment you for having giving the public, taxpayers, residents, the opportunity to speak for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as long as 25 minutes. I want to compliment you as somebody who's seen other boards not allow taxpayers to speak, let alone, albeit briefly maybe. So I want to compliment you. That's a wonderful thing. That's really democracy in action. It's a great civic lesson for others to emulate from this board. So I compliment the people. Now,
Please state your name and address.
we did it right. Hank Brandon, Port Washington, 35 Seagull Lane. One thing I want to get off my chest, I'm very upset. I sent an email. I'm not going to mention names, I'm a gentleman. I sent an email to 4 of you board members. You know who you are. Asking to reconsider taking politics, and maybe you took umbrage to that, take politics out of the issue and reopen Alvan Petrus Park.
Yeah, one might think that politics generated the discussion, and that we've been trying to avoid the political discussion.
Well,
so to start out with a fallacy in your presumption might not necessarily generate the response and discussion that you want.
Can I say
But if your
something?
presumption is that this is all about politics, Hank, then we really have no reason to continue the dialogue. If you want to make it about politics, we can go back to politics. And you know what? Maybe we'll just backtrack and start talking about, because if this is really just about politics for you, if that's really what you're talking about, then maybe we'll address it down.
Okay, I just want to say one.
Yelling at me?
Hank,
First of all, I put parentheses around the quotation marks on politics. So I didn't mean it literally. Okay? I didn't mean it literally. This is not about politics. It's about doing the right thing. But my point, I still want to, even though I compliment you for letting the public speak, I also wanted to express my displeasure for sending out an email with a follow-up email and not getting any responses. I found that.
Fair enough.
Okay? Click on you. Very sensitive. It's not like,
Yeah.